Welcome back to the channel. My name is Johnny. So good to have you with me today. In the last video we were working on our epoxy resin table, and it is my first time building one, and I'm really excited about it because I'm going to be doing the pour today. In the last video I showed you guys how I set up my mold with the melamine, the Tyvek tape, as well as how I prepped the board to lay into the mold correctly. In this video I'm going to be pouring the epoxy, and it should be pretty awesome and pretty simple, fingers crossed. I'm going to be using Total Bolt's 2-to-1 epoxy today and coloring it with black diamond, their black diamond color. I got it on Amazon. I've used not this particular color, but I have used this brand before and it's pretty awesome. I recommend it. A couple other things: if you buy the kit with Total Bolt, it comes with a couple cups, some stir sticks, and most importantly gloves. You don't want to touch this stuff without gloves because it is nasty. A couple other recommendations is shop towels, and I put newspaper everywhere because in case the mold leaks, cross your fingers it doesn't, but in case the mold leaks, it'll have something to catch the resin. Last thing you need is some sort of heat source like a torch or a heat gun to pop those bubbles. Enough of me talking, let's get to pouring. Now before we get started pouring the epoxy, I wanted to show you a quick second why I have this contraption set up. So I took a couple cross members and then clamped them down on each side. This is just to hold the board down as far as it can. Sometimes people have had it float or the epoxy can leak under. So I'm just trying to secure it because that's exactly where I want it to sit. And so when the epoxy flows, hopefully it just flows in the middle. So let's go to work. All right, when I mix this, I'm gonna mix this for about, it says 2 minutes, but I'm probably gonna mix a little bit more just because how much is in here. And then I'm gonna play the pigment by ear. So I just put 1/4 teaspoon in. Probably gonna add just a little bit more, maybe 1/2 of this. You know, just so I can make sure this isn't going to be transparent. Okay, now that I have everything mixed, I'm just going to slowly pour the epoxy in and we'll see how it goes. So it's been 5 days. I did all the pours. As you can see, in those 5 days, I actually had to take the mold back to my house because it got too cold here, and it needs to be in 70-degree weather for the epoxy to cure. So I took it back and did the last 2 pours at the house, as you saw in the video. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the mold, and then we're going to go and we're going to flatten it, and we'll take it from there. So let's go to work. So when I took off the mold, I used shins and I hammered them in with a mallet between the mold and the board, and it lifted off pretty easily. You just gotta slowly work your way around and take your time, and it should pop right off. This is what it looks like as of right now. I still have some touch up to do. I have a couple spots here I need to fill with some resin, and then I'm going to have to plane a little bit off the bottom as well, just because there's some marks from the mold. But it'll be very thin layer I take off. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go take over to the router jig, and we'll set it up and we will flatten this thing. Now this is just a couple of things I'd like to show you before I get started on the flattening. So this is the tools I'm going to be using. There's a lot of dust, and with the epoxy dust I don't want anything getting in my lungs, so I'm using a respirator. You can just use a dust mask, but that's all I had on hand. Safety glasses, because the router is going to fling material all over the place. Earplugs, because it's super loud. I'm using a DeWalt router. Now for those that you're just beginning, you may not be able to afford something like this. That's totally fine. I actually bought this used offline for pretty cheap, so sometimes you can get lucky. So check auctions, check Craigslist, check eBay. That's actually where I got mine. You might luck out with a DeWalt. This is I really like it. I've used it quite a few times, and the links to all this will be in the description below. For those who are also starting out, router bits are super expensive. This is an Amana bit. It's a flattening bit that I bought for about 50 bucks, and it's great. I like it. I've flattened about 3 slabs now with it, and it works really well. And so I would recommend that. Also, if you need a collet extension, like for me, I didn't make, I made my sled a little too tall, so this couldn't reach to the slab I was using. So I bought a $20 collet extension online. Link is in the description below, but this works really well, no vibration, and gets the job done well. So you're gonna probably see me use all of this in today's demonstration with flattening the river table, and I just thought I'd give you guys a couple quick tips and try to save some money on a budget. All right, let's get to flattening. I just finished flattening it, so I'm going to get all these router marks off, and my next goal is to start filling in these cracks. So I'm going to do the sanding off screen, and I'll take it back inside and start filling up all the little voids it left behind. Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned because the next video is coming out real soon. You're going to see the finished product and how everything comes together. So if you haven't already, like the video, smash the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.